Hello, friend. This is John Hames, the host of Old Guard Audio. I'm so very glad you tuned in today. No doubt that presenting the conservative message is more important now than ever before. The American way of life we have come to know and love is in real danger of evaporating right before our very eyes. Have someone in mind that might enjoy listening to the show, especially a young person that needs to hear a conservative message. Tell them how to subscribe or send them to the About page. This will provide methods of subscribing to the show, and that is www.oldguardaudio.com/about. Let me know what you think of the show. Send me an email at john@oldguardaudio.com. Again, thank you for making the show a success, and I'm praying that God will richly bless you and yours. Thank you again. This is John Hames.
So joining me now, Ken Starr, who served as independent counsel for 5 special investigations, including the Whitewater investigation involving then-President Clinton. Mr. Starr, welcome. Good to have you with us tonight.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
So you watched his testimony today, and I know that you've said that there is no obstruction of justice that you have seen in any of this, and you've questioned even the need for a special counsel given the evidence. What did you think about Jeff Sessions' testimony today?
I thought the Attorney General was terrific. First of all, I've known the Attorney General since 1981, and I know him to be a man of honor, a man of the law, and I thought that came through. His passion and commitment to the rule of law came shining through. So I don't think a lot was revealed today. I don't think we're much farther down the road, but I think that the American people saw that this Attorney General is just a great human being with an enormous amount of passion and determination to try his very best to do the right thing. I liked his sense of moral indignation.
So given that, what do you think in reflection about James Comey and what he suggested about Jeff Sessions?
Well, a lot of what Director Comey suggested, if I may say so, was innuendo, but we've now seen a very honorable person defend himself, and I thought he acquitted himself beautifully. I thought he was very, very plausible. And I have stated previously that I have serious problems with the way Director Comey conducted himself. And those were really explored again today by virtue of the senators going through meticulously the Rosenstein memorandum, which enumerated the various areas in which the director really violated, perhaps, law, but he certainly violated policy time and time again.
All right. So in terms of investigations, which you are very familiar with, one of the things that Democrats took issue with today primarily were moments like this. Let's play number 5.
I did not have any private meetings, nor do I recall any conversations with any Russian officials at the Mayflower Hotel. I did not attend any meetings at that event.
To the best of your memory, you had no conversation with Ambassador Kislyak at that meeting?
I don't recall it, Senator Warner. It would have been, certainly I can assure you, nothing improper if I'd had a conversation with him, and it's conceivable that occurred. I just don't remember it. Well, I guess I could say that I possibly had a meeting, but I still do not recall it.
There's a lot of counting of the times he said, I don't recall, and people saying, how could that possibly be? Your thoughts?
Well, I'm very sympathetic with that. My goodness, it's difficult for us to recall what happened last week. We're going back some considerable time. And also, it was not one of those interactions that you would automatically say, you should remember that. A reasonable person would remember that.
Because people met with Kislyak all the time, and he was a very permanent figure around Washington and showed up at a lot of these things, right?
Exactly, and it was a social kind of gathering, et cetera, or at least it was a social context as opposed to, we're going over to the Russian embassy, or the ambassador is coming to your Senate office for a meeting.
We're joined by the independent counsel who investigated President Bill Clinton, Ken Starr. Mr. Starr, thank you for joining us this morning. I want you to start out by putting yourself in Robert Mueller's shoes right now. You've been there before. After last week's Comey testimony and the president's response, would you be investigating possible obstruction of justice?
Oh, yes, you have to look at everything. In light of what the director said in his testimony, you've got to analyze it. So the short answer is you gather all the facts, you assess all the facts. It looks as if it is going to be, George, he said versus he said situation. But, yeah, you've got to look at everything. That's the job of the special counsel.
He said. Do you think James Comey would lie under oath?
I'm not going to say anyone is lying. People have different recollections of the very same conversation. The key, though, is even if the president said what the director said he said, does that in fact constitute either obstruction of justice or another crime? And I don't think it's even close at this stage. We shall see. There's a requirement of corrupt intent. Moreover, the word hope, even though it was taken by the director as a directive, was not acted upon by the director as if he had been given an order.
Can I stop you there?
I'll also say this, George. The director...
Doesn't the fact that the president kicked everyone else out of the room, the attorney general, the vice president, his staff, at least suggest corrupt intent?
Not necessarily corrupt intent. It suggests unwisdom. We're using Trump Tower methodology here to carry on business in Washington. That's unwise. I just don't think at this stage we're anywhere near a crime. Nonetheless, we have to investigate it. That's what Bob Mueller, who's a great man and a terrific lawyer, honest as the day is long, is going to be doing. I will say this. For the director of the FBI to feel as if he's been given a directive, he should have immediately reported that, at a minimum, to the inspector general. He should have called the White House counsel. He should have said, I believe I am being directed to do something that's utterly inappropriate. He did not take any of the steps that a reasonable director of the FBI, in my judgment, would have taken.
You say that Robert Mueller is honest as the day is long. You have some of the president's defenders out there now calling the whole investigation into question because of Mueller's friendship with James Comey. Newt Gingrich says he thinks it's going to be a witch hunt. Is that a legitimate fear? And do you believe that Mueller is in any way compromised by his relationship with Comey?
No, I don't think that there is a legitimate concern about Bob Mueller. He has decades of very distinguished record of complete integrity. In Washington, D.C., people know one another. It's just the way it is. But Bob Mueller has the integrity and the ability to make judgments, to call him as he sees him. He's going to be a very fair umpire. Plus, we have the check and the balance, George, of the Senate Intelligence Committee, which is very ably chaired by Senator Burr, Senator Warner, the ranking minority member. That committee seems to be doing a superb job as well.
I spoke with one of the president's attorneys yesterday who didn't refuse to rule out the possibility that the president at some point might direct his Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein to fire Bob Mueller. What would that mean?
It would be a very serious action, but it would, again, depend on the facts. What is it that Bob Mueller did that would justify that sort of thing? Firing special prosecutors tends not to work, as we all learned from Watergate. So it would be very wise to allow the special counsel to do his work. You'll see he is the one person in Washington we're not hearing from. He has his head down. He's doing his job. He's assembled, by the way, a fantastic team. That is a great, great team of complete professionals. So let's let him do his job.
Finally, we had this lawsuit this morning from the Attorney Generals of Maryland and Washington, D.C. About those foreign payments to the president's corporation. They say it's a violation of the Emoluments Clause. How serious a threat is this to President Trump?
You got to take any litigation seriously, but allegations are allegations. In my 40 years of practicing law, I've seen a lot of allegations that have blown up in smoke.
Ken Starr, thanks very much for your time this morning.
My pleasure.
Well, there you have it. I'm so glad you stopped by the show today. Let someone know about the show, a youngster, a college age, young adult. Maybe the younger generation will hear something that makes sense to them. You can help with the cost of producing, the web host, and the file storage at no cost to you. Just check out the Amazon links on the webpage, oldguardaudio.com. If you make any purchase using those links, regardless of what item is being displayed, just click on the Amazon link and make a purchase that you need around the house. I'll get credit for it. It will sure help keep the show on the air. Thanks again. This is John Hames. May God bless you and all of yours.